HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This segment of the news is brought to you by BTC, powered by Lime.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. Good Sunday evening, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis. Thanks so much for joining us. Officers of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force were charged today with maintaining the core principles of the organization in order to follow its mandate of guarding their heritage and continue to protect the Bahamian people. Altabi's Munnings reports tonight on the Royal Bahamas Defense Force's annual church service held earlier this afternoon.
Officers of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force assembled at Evangelistic Temple on Collins Avenue Sunday afternoon to give God thanks and pray for the future. Protecting the country's borders is the primary goal of all 1,154 Defense Force officers. And National Security Minister Dr. Bernard Nottage praised the force's stellar performance over the years, despite the challenges.
Since the year 2010, the Defense Force has successfully interdicted more than 4,377 migrants at sea, conducted 232 search and rescue missions, and arrested more than 15 foreign fishing vessels and 14 local fishing vessels for fisheries violations. Your efforts to partner with the Bahamas National Trust to ensure the sustainability of our country's marine resources and the effective enforcement of International Ship and Port Security Code to address illicit activities within our ports of entries are noteworthy.
But as the government's single largest investment of capital resources for the Defense Force is what is being relied on to continue to effectively exercise the force's mandate.
Now 9 medium to long-range patrol vessels over the next 3 years. This acquisition will also include an auxiliary vessel to provide timely transport of supplies to disaster-stricken areas around our archipelago. The acquisition of the vessels will also improve operational response time to maritime incidents and support the decentralization strategy, which includes significant improvement to bases in the North, Central, and Southern Bahamas, and the development of satellite bases in Abaco, Bimini, and the Ragged Islands.
Some 75 recruits, who comprise the Defense Force's largest number of trainees in its history, will begin their new jobs this May. Their intense training includes following the Defense Force's core principles, among them transparency, accountability, integrity, and fair play. Evangelistic Temple's pastor, Reverend Dr. Vaughn Cash, admonished all Defense Force officers to always follow their rules.
The Bahamian people expect to see fair play. And because you have adopted this as one of your core values, God, who established such a value, is also expecting to see fair play from the members of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force.
Altabi's Munnings for the ZNS News Network.
The government doesn't plan to hold a referendum on oil exploration. That confirmation coming from Environment Minister Kenrick Dorset in a statement released today. Minister Dorset acknowledged the government will also not ask the Bahamian people to vote on whether they want to develop an oil industry if there is no oil to begin with. He confirmed that new regulations to strengthen and modernize petroleum regulations nationwide will be presented to Cabinet shortly. He said if during the course of licensed exploration activities, commercial quantities of oil are in fact discovered in our waters, the government would then engage the Bahamian people in an extensive public information program to ensure that all important facts are laid before the people for their consideration and discussion. The Environment Minister revealed that just last month he and the Minister of State for Legal Affairs, Damian Gomez, visited Cuba to discuss our mutual interest in petroleum exploration and the need for enhanced environmental vigilance and protection. This comes as Cuba, he says, actively explores for produces and refines hydrocarbons. Minister Dorset illustrated estimates that suggest exploration data sufficient to answer the question of whether we have petroleum reserves in commercially viable quantities would probably not be available until the later part of 2014 or early 2015. Therefore, it is unlikely there would be any referendum on the oil development question before the second half of 2015. Simon Potter, CEO of the Bahamas Petroleum Company, PLC, welcomes the Environment Minister and government's position on oil exploration. Potter says in his statement that a successful discovery offshore has the potential to generate significant value for the Bahamas. He also noted, though, that the public has a right to know that proper care will be taken, sensible investments will be made, and the best and most suitable technology will be brought to ensure that any activities conducted offshore are executed safely. The BPC CEO confirmed that the company's plan over the next few months is to demonstrate how exploration plans will be implemented and strengthened. He also said BPC anticipates it will take at least a year to appropriately plan any drilling activities. Leaders from the Union of Tertiary Educators of the Bahamas Public Managers Union and the Bahamas Public Services Union are applauding members of the College of the Bahamas Union of Students for their efforts in bringing about accountability from the government regarding the proposed reduction of subventions and increase in fees at the College of the Bahamas in the next fiscal year. At a press conference today, union leaders called for an extensive audit statements of the college's finances effective immediately.
For almost half of a decade, individually and less so collectively, we, the faculty, staff, middle managers and students at the College of the Bahamas have expressed our concerns about the slowly deteriorating state of affairs at the national institution.
President of the Union of Tertiary Educators of the Bahamas, Jennifer Isaacs-Dotson, is appalled by the leadership and direction the College of the Bahamas is heading in just 2 years before it transitions into the university level. But what's even worse, Isaac-Dotson says an audit statement of the college's finances have not been drafted for almost 3 years, and union officials are now asking for a report to be made available to the public and all the trade unions.
Other than the staged gestures of interest on the 8th and 12th of February, this president or her administrative team have shown no interest in the kind of genuine cooperation with stakeholders that would warrant them being truthful, open, and transparent. Up to now, neither the president nor any member of her senior team has made any of these basic financial documents available to us.
President of the Bahamas Public Services Union, John Pinder, agrees and expressed disappointment with the government's stance in bringing the college to university status. However, he disagrees with the government's initial position to cut subventions and increase tuition fees for students already struggling to pay current fees.
We believe that in order for us to cause our Bahamians to be educated and have the skill set necessary to compete not only regionally, globally, in this educational and job market, they have to have easy access to training and education.
COBA's President Ernesto Williams lamented that just the thought of an increase in tuition fees and subvention cuts has had a great impact on the thousands of students enrolled at the college.
However, while both government officials and COB administration continue to enjoy their 5- and 6-digit salaries, travel across the world on the money of the taxpayers, and speak around this vexing issue, the approximate 5,000 count student population are still shuddering from the impending tuition hike that would evidently separate many of them from realizing their dream of completing their tertiary degrees, as well as the doubts and uncertainty over the availability.
Union leaders are once again requesting for a meeting with the College Council to discuss the way forward and to obtain an update on the appointment of a new Vice President of Finance. Meantime, during an interview with ZNS News a few weeks ago, the nation's leader, Prime Minister Christie, said the government does not intend to cut subventions or increase fees at the College of the Bahamas in this year's budget. Now, we made an attempt to contact College of the Bahamas President Betsy Vogel-Bowles, but was unsuccessful up to news time. Meanwhile, the College of the Bahamas installed the inaugural chapter of the Red Cross Collegiate Society this past Friday at the Red Cross John F. Kennedy Drive headquarters. Each member is a College of the Bahamas student who took the oath of office to maintain the Bahamas Red Cross mandate of helping those in need. For 73 years, the Bahamas Red Cross, through generous public donations, has fulfilled the need of Bahamians in time of disaster. Hoping that the new collegiate chapter follows suit, Bahamas Red Cross President Brandon Watson and COB's Vice President of Student Affairs, Dr. Esley Jones, admonished the students to keep the spirit of volunteerism alive.
Our mission requires that we engage young person to provide support to the most vulnerable in our country. This first college chapter is a step to ensure that the baton is passed to our new generation of leaders, ensuring that the spirit of humanitarianism transcends generation.
You will no doubt become ambassadors to the Bahamas and an example of your peers. You will also play a part in etching upon the pages of history in our country. You are encouraged to carry on the legacy of the Red Cross that is to be much admired for its tenacity and endurance through its time in existence.
According to newly installed First Vice President Kalisha Blaze, the new Red Cross Collegiate Chapter has already planned a list of activities geared toward youth development.
This chapter is going to bring forth service to all mankind, help those in need, and exercise leadership. We look forward to the continuity, longevity, and the prosperity of the Bahamas Red Cross Collegiate Chapter at the College of the Bahamas. And all of the members are promising individuals, so you have nothing more than great things to expect from all of the members and this chapter.
The traffic fatality count so far this year is already at 15, an alarming number for road traffic officials who have now mounted on an aggressive educational road safety campaign. Recently, a mother and her 15-month-old child died following a car crash on Eleuthera. The baby died on impact, and the 18-year-old mother died days later. Transport and Aviation State Minister Hope Strawn is very concerned about the frequent number of serious traffic accidents on some of the family islands.
Extremely worrisome for us, because it means that we are on the trend of the same count as we had last year, which was 45 or even greater. And so we really need to educate our public, and I think that the speed factor is also something that is playing a large part in the fatalities. So the Transportation Policy and Planning Unit is going to be studying that and making sure that we advise the Ministry of Works in collaboration with them to see if we can also make sure that there are notices of speed limits that are placed on the streets, because in a lot of instances you can drive for miles and not see a sign that says, well, this is the speed limit.
Meantime, over at the Road Traffic Department, officials there plan to upgrade their computer system to effectively issue driver's licenses.
What we have determined needs to be done is that their computer system there, we need a new computer system for the issuing of licenses, and we definitely need to reform the way we do things in terms of the collection of the revenue. And so it is foreshadowed that in this in the new year, in the new fiscal budget, that we should be putting forward trying to make allocations for us to be able to do that. And so I would ask you to stay tuned for that. It's going to take not only equipment, machinery, technology, it's all going to take staff and training for the new system that they're implementing. And we're looking somewhere towards the middle of the year, around September or so, for us to be able to put that in place.
When the weekend edition continues, an American visitor reportedly drowned on Paradise Island yesterday. That story coming up.